Hi, my name is Captain Oliver Pedraga. I'm the Suicide Prevention Program Manager for the Army Reserve Medical Command. Through the Connect to Protect initiative, this video series shares the anonymous voices of those who have stood on that edge and have chosen life. Their stories are a reminder that we are not alone. Connection is strength, help is within reach, and survival is victory. Remember, when we connect, we protect.
Been in the military now for 18 years. I wanted to do something more with my life, and I believed that I wanted to do something regarding cyber warfare. So I was already into IT before I joined the military, so that was my primary reason for joining the military. Came back from Afghanistan 2013. That was a rough tour. We lost 11 soldiers in a 9-month period. Shortly after I got back, my wife had a miscarriage. Just a lot of things kind of happened all at once. And then I took the assist gatekeeper course. Going through that course kind of unpacked a lot of trauma that I had been suppressing for a while. And during that class, I realized, wow, there's a lot of stuff that I kind of need to deal with. I've just been putting that away. And then the end of that year, 2014, my mother died unexpectedly. And that was right before the birth of my son. And that kind of opened the floodgates. There was so much stuff I'd been carrying around and just not dealing with at all. It let me know that I was in a bad way, but I had no idea how to fix that. Fast forward, became a police officer, and two things kind of happened, really back to back. I had a homicide-suicide, and just the brutality of that incident. And then shortly thereafter, there was a death of an infant. And I just remember sitting in that hospital room with the smallest bag, and inside was a 6-month-old, and I knew at that point I was in trouble. That really brought a lot of things to light that I still had not been dealing with. And it was shortly thereafter that I started to look for help. I just didn't understand a lot of things. I have faith. I believe in God, but I just didn't understand why He would allow the things to happen in the manner in which He did. And I couldn't reconcile that in my head. And to me, it was just well, you take people away who are doing good and trying to make the world better. And my thought, I was well, why am I even here? Why allow people to suffer? Why did my children and my siblings, and then the pain of the soldiers when we lost our soldiers, it was just I didn't understand. I couldn't fathom how these things were allowed to happen. So in my darkest of times, it was just why am I even continuing to try and fight this fight? I was tired. I was just tired of feeling pain and not being able to just verbalize it, or not having no one to kind of talk to and unpack this, because there was just so much stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff. And it was just all intertwined, and I didn't even know where to start. I was emotionally tired. I didn't know what to do at that point. In my head, who would listen to all of that, just pain and trauma? Who would understand that? I didn't think anyone would understand that. We were taught to be, as soldiers, the mission's first. Whatever you gotta do, keep moving forward. And that's the way I lived my life. But I think I was that way before I joined the military, because it was my perception of the oldest child male. This is what you need to do. You take care of your siblings, you take care of your mom, and whatever you do, just keep moving forward. I got good at it. It was the thing I could do the best. And I guess at some point, all this trauma, gallon of trauma, trying to pour it into a shot glass, it's gonna spill out. And I didn't even realize it was coming out in just awkward ways, like either in anger or putting things together that don't necessarily fit together. And then that trauma comes out, or that pain for something very minute, but then like all this other stuff comes out. I just believe that there's no one who could even fathom like what I was understanding. So it just became easier to just keep it in. Talking to my kids, that was the biggest thing, because they were going through things, children were harming themselves, and I would preach to my kids, hey, I don't care whatever you're going through, talk to me. Talk to your mother, but talk to someone. And then it got to the point where, how can I tell them that, and then I am doing the exact opposite of what I'm telling them? And it got to the point where when my kids weren't opening up to me, I don't deal with the stuff I have to deal with. How can I expect them to open up to me? And especially if I don't open up to them. But I realized I had to get to a point where I could talk to my children. It was them, and it was talking to other cops. You kind of have that peer mentorship, but just someone to say, hey, like, I know what you're dealing with. This is kind of what you need to deal with. And doing that, becoming an assist trainer, that helped too. But then taking a look at myself and realize I need to help myself too. I can't forget about myself. I'm no good to any of those groups of people if I don't learn how to take care of myself. Now I just have to take the step and do it. Going through that assist course, and like Mr. Walsler, him telling his story, and Chaplain Brandt for the Coast Guard, and hearing their stories and just seeing how they got there. And these men are here doing these things, and they experienced their levels of trauma too. So it's like, okay, there is the other side. It made it easier to say, okay, these are men that I looked up to, and it made it easier to talk to my soldiers and talk to my peers, because they gave me strength. Like when my mom passed away, I thought about the show of support that the soldiers all coming down to my house, driving 3 hours out of the way and looking out for me, realizing that my unit came together and the things that they did for me, like that, realized I have a village. And you don't think about that when you're standing in front of the wall. All you can see is that one spot. And so that little spot looks huge. But then when you take a step back, you realize, wow, there's more to it. And that kind of helped me, realizing that I need to take a step back and look at everything. That was the biggest thing. Talking to them, realizing that I'm not Superman. I'm not impervious to pain. No one's impervious to pain. And trying to present yourself as that, you'll break before you ever achieve that point. Every day is a struggle, but try to see a therapist at least once a month, more if certain things happen. I talk to my kids a lot more now, just about my day. In my approach to be empathetic, sometimes I put things together and draw from my experience and try to help people. But what I was doing was, I believe I was taking their trauma and absorbing it, thinking that if I took it upon myself, it would stop them from the feelings that they were having. And this is something I've been talking with my therapist about, that I have to stop doing that. And now I found myself catching myself doing it. And it's helped me now because it allows me not to take in that trauma. So that's another way I'm helping myself. I try and do a lot of the suicide prevention training and tell my story to my soldiers, because I believe that's therapeutic for me, because they see me as this kind of hard charging person. But then when I sit down and talk with them, they're like, wow, we didn't realize that all of these things were happening to you. And just being able to tell my story now and not go into that dark space, that's helpful for me. And just going out and enjoying life, that's the biggest thing. Like, I have so much pleasure now in doing things with friends and family, things that I felt like I let my trauma take away that joy. I realized that if I do those little things in life, then the bigger things are even better. Some days are good, some days aren't, but I believe I'm enjoying life more. Don't suffer in silence. It's amazing if you take that first step and ask for help, how many people are probably walking the same path or walked the same path you have, and you don't have to do it alone. We can't do life alone. And if you just take all your trauma and you suck it in, then it's going to eat away at you, and you're going to push away the people whom you love and care about the most, that you want to protect. You're going to wind up pushing them away. Learn how to talk to them. Learn how to have some of those tough conversations. And it's not going to be easy, but stop taking stuff in. Stop letting it consume your life. If you just talk to someone, it'll take so much weight off your shoulders. If I can, by me telling my story, if one person listens and says, you know what, I don't want to live in this dark space, then it's worth it. Because if everyone tells their story and they help one person, then it just exponentially grows, and then we can help a lot of people. And that's our goal. If everybody just helps one person, how much better would things be? We as people and we as soldiers, we connect, but we're afraid to be vulnerable. But in that space of vulnerability, what you realize is like you're actually putting kind of a coat of armor around you with other people. And it's that connection to where, hey, if you seem off, then you have that lifeline. It's developing that emotional connection deeper than the surface to where now you have people around you looking out for you when you don't even realize it. So that's what that means to me.
If you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal ideations, reach out. There is help out there. You deserve to live. As a fellow soldier, I encourage you to connect, to protect. And remember, it's okay to not be okay.